Hello everybody, Iain Robson here for a mini-series, I think, of Conestoga. Alright, so, like I said in one of the previous episodes, I forgot which one it is now. I was talking about potentially doing a mini-series on this map, Conestoga, and there was a very particular reason why I wanted to do it, and that was because of the soil mod. So, let's get started. I basically just sold all the vehicles, all the starting vehicles I started off with, and I'm just gonna go ahead and I just gave myself $10 million. I'm not too worried about money. I really want to like dig into the soil mod a little bit. So that's the reason why I just gave myself 10 mil, just because of that. Let's go ahead and get the Massey Ferguson, give her a little go. And you do need a few things on this. I should say you do need a few things if you're going to try out the soil mod. You do need a cultivator at the very least if you're going to get started here. Let's go ahead with something ridiculous. Let's go with a class 780 with the class Vario head. It's probably just slightly too large. So these are the fields we own just down here. We own field, I think it's like 4 or 5. These ones right here. And let's just go ahead and get started harvesting. The way it works is, let me just show you. It's kind of interesting because it's kind of a bit different style. You play normally, but it includes things that you've never dealt with before, or I haven't at least. Maybe you guys have. But the way it works is you have to keep an eye on the levels of your field. There we go. We went ahead just down here. I haven't used this combine in a long time. So we have field 7 just down here, so let's just go ahead and drive down there. And this is probably overkill for these small fields, but for the bigger ones it's fine. Okay, they're not ready yet. I thought they were. No, they're not quite ready yet. So here are the fields right down here. Let me just show you the way this mod works. All these trees are collidable. I have to be careful. Alright, so this one, is it ready to be harvested? Let's just find out. I don't think it is, but we'll see in a second here. Oh, it is. Alright, so let me just show you the way it works. So, I'm not going to hire workers, that's going to be terrible. So look at the way it works. So this is the soil conditions page. So the way it works is, as you're in the field, you'll notice the soil pH actually changes depending where you are. So some places will be slightly alkaline, as they call it there. And some of them will have a synthetic fertilizer and there'll be some weed pressure. So right now, because I just hopped into this map, there's not going to be anything really. The soil pH might change. And you can adjust the soil pH of the field, which is pretty darn cool if you ask me. Yep, there are some various ways you can do that. If you add a fertilizer, you can change the soil pH and whatnot. I believe if you add solid fertilizer, it changes the pH, and if you add liquid fertilizer, it also changes the pH as well. So it's pretty cool actually. I like it, but as you can see, the pH changes depending on where you are in the field, and it's just the way it is. It makes perfect sense that it's like that, because in real life it would be the same way, right? So the way this works is, right now, there's nothing. It doesn't really make a difference because we popped into this farm. There's nothing going on here at the moment, so it's not really a big deal. But after I finish this harvest and plant the field, that's where it's going to start making a difference. So I believe, do we start off with, I thought we started off with some fertilizer. Maybe it's not this one. No, we don't. I thought we did. Anyhow, so the idea here is you can actually, depending on what you fertilize your field with, it'll actually be better or worse. Not worse. It could be worse. That's theoretically actually for your field. So right now there's nothing. I haven't planted. There's only canola on this field. So it's not going to make a difference what I put on here. But if I were to you know, do something else, for example, if I were to plant in here, I would have to be careful about that. So the one thing, let me just hop over here. So what you actually need for this is you do need a sprayer, a cultivator of some sort, depending on what route you're going to go. Let me just grab a tipper. That's one I don't use often. Just choosing random ones, or trying to at least. This one's good. Let's get this one. It's a red trailer for a red tractor. Perfect. Good. This is a new Massey Ferguson, just came out not so long ago. 7626. It's pretty nice. One of the nicer Massey Fergusons, one of the larger ones I've seen in a long time, so. Here we go. So right now, the soil mod hasn't really taken into effect at all. Because nothing really has, we haven't really done anything on the map. But once it takes into effect, then you'll definitely see the differences. And depending on what you use to fertilize your fields, and depending on a few different things, it'll affect the quality of your mix, basically. Is he gonna get stuck there? Oh no, he's not. That's good. I totally thought he was gonna get stuck there. But he definitely will. Alright, let's go up here and unload this combine. So let me just go back to that. So as you can see, it'll adjust what's going on in the field. So right now, because... Alright, let me get this guy set up properly. Apparently I can't talk and do this at the same time at the moment. There we go. So the way it works is, so you'll see how there's fertilizer, organic fertilizer, synthetic, herbicide, and weed infestation. So right now there's no weed infestation at all. But, so this is, oops, because this is canola, it'll have certain likes and certain dislikes depending on what you've planted. So it's not going to show up at the moment, apparently. Don't know why, but... So I'll have certain likes and dislikes. So depending on what you're spraying with, so... Let me just move this guy out of the way, because it's going to get in the way. Looks like this has got a dirty script on it, so things will get dirtier as time progresses. Let's just buy a sprayer real quick here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So these ones will only spread lime or caulk fertilizer, so you can do some fertilizing with that. But do I have any sprayers that are... No. Apparently I'll... Actually, that's not true. I do have one, but it's not really a... It's not really meant for that, what I'm going to use it for. Alright, let me just grab a sprayer here. Let's grab this pole behind. Because that's ridiculous. And way bigger than it needs to be for what we're going to be using it for, but... It will, it'll get the job done, so I'm not too worried about it. And let's get the cloths here. Because we can. Alright, so if I come over here and fire at this cloth, the way it works is... Let me bring up the information. Oh, this is a front loader apparently too. So you can actually select what type of spray you want to use for various implements. So if I come over here, where the spray is, so as you can see I have this little A thing, so that is, I believe, fertilizer A, and there's fertilizer B and fertilizer C. So depending on what field you're on, and depending on what you're using it for, you need to pay attention to it. So it's kind of like, it's not just plant, fertilize, and go. There's a bit more to it than just that, which I really like about it. And it does make it a bit more interesting also. Where is it? There we go. Got enough here. If you want to... I'm just bringing up the information on the website itself. So, is this going to bring up information about likes and dislikes? No, apparently not. I forgot that all the bushes are collidable on this map, which is slightly annoying. For me, at least. Because I'm just not used to it. Anyways, let's go down here to one of these fields, and hopefully it'll bring up the likes and dislikes. It might not be working just because I have some other mods installed, and I think that's conflicting with it. That's my guess, at least. And I want to go south, not north, Iain. Here we go. This is OEB's map. Pretty nice looking map, if you ask me. Everything you can run into, though. My one downfall here. Alright. I don't know what we hit there, but... Alright. So, here, this is wheat, as you can see down here. And there's no pressure at all in this area. So, so he's actually done here. So let me just accelerate time and I'll show you what happens. So here, if you accelerate time past 12 midnight, there's a growth cycle that goes on. So as you can see right at the top there, it says growth 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happens is it will affect certain things. So in this area right here, you should theoretically start to see some weeds. It might happen. So as it gets closer to the end of the cycle, I can actually go to daytime. Doesn't make a difference. And this thing is loud, jeez. There we go, sheesh. And as the growth cycle continues, certain things will happen. So if you put down fertilizer, for example, it'll go away. Or if you put down herbicide, it'll go away. So it depends on what's what. So in this case, I don't see any weeds on this field yet. But what can happen is weed pressure will increase as the growth cycle goes on. So there's nothing in this field yet. And different areas have different amounts of weed pressure, right? Makes sense, just like in real life. So the growth cycle is coming down to the end. So this growth cycle affects things like whether you put down fertilizer, whether you've put down stuff like herbicide, pesticide, I guess not pesticide, but things along those lines. It affects all of that stuff. So there's nothing in this field. So let's just see if we can accelerate time a little bit more to see if we can't get some weeds in here. Just so I can demonstrate how this works a little bit. And again, like I said, it might be because I have other mods installed. Who knows? So there's a growth cycle again. So it happens every day at 12 midnight. Doesn't appear to be any weeds in here. Must be conflicting with other mods. We'll see. We'll see in a second here. Because what should be happening now is that they should be getting a little bit of weeds. Hard to say though, but it does happen over time. Because if you just leave it and nothing happens, well, if you just leave the field, you'll run into problems basically. Let's just unload this guy here. Yeah, so it doesn't appear to be any weeds yet. Nope, there they are. So let me just show you that on this field over there. It must be because we just harvested. Oh, no, way down here. So see that? That's all weeds, actually. So let me go down here, and it should, see how the weed infestation changes? So depending on where you are in the field, you have these weeds problems right here. I think we actually can, yeah, it must be because that combine has cultivating wheels on it. But as you can see, there's weeds increasing right here. So this is part of the soil mod. So there's nothing on this field at the moment, and that should be coming up. I don't know why it's not. There's nothing on this field at the moment. But if I come over here, so this is fertilizer right here, and this is considered a synthetic fertilizer. Not a organic fertilizer. Organic fertilizer would be considered stuff like liquid manure, stuff like solid manure. Those are considered those are considered organic, which makes sense, right? Let's just pull this off the field too. Alright, so right now this is fertilizer right here. That's fertilizer, and this is the herbicide right here. So we have 3 types of herbicides. So if this field were, let's go see over here. On this map, withering is enabled, so this is probably withered now, yeah. But you may find some, is there any weeds in here? Doesn't appear to be. But for example, if I were to spray stuff in this particular field, I might run into problems because I don't know what type of, oh, so there's some weeds right in there. So let's say you want to cultivate this, or not cultivate, you want to harvest this field. What will happen is you actually have a decreased yield because of those weeds. So this isn't coming up for whatever reason. I think it's to do with one of the other mods I installed, which is a bit annoying. So let me just pause and we'll be back in a sec. Alright, and we're back. So here's an example of what I was talking about before. So as you can see, depending on which crop you're using, they have certain likes and certain dislikes. So this is, what is this considered here? Start engine, yes. So maybe because whether it's considered there's nothing in here. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's because whether it's like there's nothing in here. You don't need to worry about anything. Same thing here. Yeah. So if it weren't withered, then you'd see it. But let's say over here. So let's say I wanted to spray herbicides. This was canola in this field right here, right? So let's say I want to plant canola, or put canola. So if I want to fertilize this field, I put fertilizer C. So canola, fertilizer C, or herbicide C. So it doesn't like herbicide C, but it likes fertilizer C. So fertilizer C would be this guy right here. Let's assume we're going to plant canola in this field again. Let's just assume. Alright, so let's get her lined up here. Or at least try to. There we go. Almost ran into a tree there, but that's okay. Alright, so we're going to spray fertilizer C on this field because... yeah, this is probably a bad option for this because of the trees. So let's just get this set up. So this is where you need a sprayer, basically. Well, I guess you can get around it. Alright, so let's just spray a little bit of fertilizer on here. Doesn't look any different than normal. It's got the same same graphic and everything. But as you can see, in certain areas there's a higher weed count than other areas. So right now, 10%, it's only on like this, that's 10% area, and that's probably like 10% right there. So it's not too bad in those areas. But if you were to plant something else, then you'd probably have a few other problems, I would imagine. Alright, so gonna hit every tree with this. Let's turn it off, spin her around here. There we go. I'm gonna back up and not try to hit that tree. Alright, here. So we're gonna put this fertilizer down here, like so. And we'll just see what happens here. I don't know if it affects, if you go over, I don't think it affects it if you go over like I am here with overlap. I really should have chosen a smaller sprayer, but I don't know. This seemed like the right thing to do. So as you can see, weed infestation is 10% there, and I believe that does affect how much yield you actually get, which is kind of interesting. The soil pH will affect your yield as well. Just reading it here, and there is a optimal amount of soil pH you want. Let's just take a quick little peek here. So for 100% yield, you want between 6.6 you want between 6.6 and 7.3. So right now, in this area, it's 7.4, and this is 7.2, so that's okay. So if we had really high soil pH or really low soil pH, it'd be bad. So 6.5 is just under. 7.4 would be just over. So basically that you want the number between 6.6 and 7.3. So this is a little low. So you wanted to go up a little bit. And vice versa, basically. And you can change that by putting different stuff down. So we fertilize this field now, which is good. Let's just do that, do that. Where's the main field, main farm again? Totally lost. Oh, there it is. Alright, so let's go ahead and seed something down there. Let's just see what happens. I'll take you through a whole growth cycle. Let's try a random seeder I don't normally try. Why not, right? This is kind of like a mini-series. Testing, I guess you can call it too. Just so you guys can see what it's like. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I thought I had some fancier ones. This one could work, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. This one will work. Alright. Reset that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that seeded up there. I wish this reset point weren't so close to these. Like, it's not impossible to get them, but it is just seems a bit close to these grain bins here. That's just my personal opinion, though. There we go. So we said we're going to plant canola on that field. Alright, so let's just get the seeds. It's not really meant for this type of seeder apparently though either. Can I get seeds from here? Really? I can't get seeds from there? I know you can get seeds from there, let's say that. I'm just surprised. I thought it would be I thought you'd be able to do it, but I guess you can't. I think it's just a seeder specifically. The actual place where you get seeds is really strange on this one. I've had this problem before. There it is. Now if I were using the damage mod, that would just be, you'd be game over right there basically. But luckily I'm not. Alright, so let's go head back to those fields there. This class isn't too bad. Has some fancy features. I believe you could pull up the hood of this thing. I believe all these trees are collidable, so I have to be careful. So this is the field we have fertilized. There we go. So this is a no-till drill, so we can just go straight into that. Not a problem. Let's just speed them up here a little bit. It's not really realistic, but it's more about testing than realism at this point. Because I am curious about this mod, and why not show you guys what it's like too. Makes sense. There's an example of more weeds popping up. You do need a cultivator sometimes, so right now, so I've planted already into this field, so what happens is if the weed pressure increases, I'm going to have to spray. As opposed to like if the weed pressure were high when I got the field, I'd have to cultivate rather than anything else. So again, we're taking a look at this down here, slightly alkaline, or slight acidity. So it's not too bad. It's not in a bad zone yet. But if it drops really low, then I will have to do something about that. For now, it seems to be okay, so. Again, there's an example of the weeds. I don't know, I think that's really cool. How it adds that into it. Here's an example where the trees are going to be my, the death of me here. Let's just lower this down and do maybe a little headland over here. So maybe I don't have this problem as badly. We'll see. It may still be a problem, but... Alright, so let's get this done, and then we'll see what it's like from there. It's funny, it's only from the one side, so this side going up this way is fine, because there's a big space, but going down there is a couple trees you're bound to run into. Alright, so this is neutral. So when it's neutral, that's where it's good. But if it's high, if it's too low, 6.5 would be too low, 7.7 I believe would be too high. But it gives you an indication, so it says neutral or not neutral or whatever it happens to be. So, all right, sweet. So while he's doing that, let's go grab a cultivator because we're gonna need one, I think, eventually as well. And I believe we've passed it by a long shot. Oh well. Alright, here. Where is it? Cultivators. Here we go. And I don't think it makes a difference what cultivator you use or what type of cultivator you use. It's if you're gonna plant, or if you're gonna put liquid manure down, it will need to be cultivated or plowed for it to take its full effect. You can just spread it on and leave it, and it's fine. But if you want to take its full effect, then you will need to cultivate it. Apparently spreading lime will increase your soil pH, and if it's plowed or cultivated into the ground, the lime's efficiency will be increased when it's left unprocessed. So to spread lime, let's grab, that's probably a little bit too big. Do I have anything smaller that would be? Nothing too small, apparently. This should work. That's 5 meters. Alright, so I believe I'm looking for something like this. So if I pick up something like this, this should be able to spread lime if memory serves. So this can spread lime or chalk. So let's get this guy right here. How are you not driving straight through me? Seriously. I don't know. Alright, so let's go ahead and reset those two. And there we go. There we go. Alright, so he's almost finished. Let's grab one more tractor here for that spreader. And I'll show you how that works. Don't know why I decided to go all the way through that. Another random tractor, let's see. I don't know, I'm just picking ones I don't use very often, apparently. This one, even though it's cool, it has some problems. Undiscovered. Not a Ford. What should we use here? JCB. Let's pick up one of... I don't know. Pick up in there. Let's pick up this Massey Ferguson. Sure, why not? Ah, yes, that's a pretty big cultivator. I forgot how big that was. This thing apparently accelerates like a bat out of hell. There we go. So the way this works, I believe... Oops. This one is same thing as the other one. You can fill it with different fill types as well, I believe. Yeah, so that's the fertilizer. I don't know if it'll put lime in here. Let's just see in a second. So that's fertilizer A, fertilizer B, fertilizer C, yeah. So it doesn't say turn on area limitation. I don't know what that's supposed to be. So let's go down to our field here. And so this is the spray type. So we can only spray fertilizers with this particular object. Looks like our other guy's done. So we should be able to spread lime with this though. And maybe that's not where you need. Maybe I need to... I don't know, where would you fill lime up with this then? It should just be the same. I think it's just the same one. Let me just see what the information says. Nope. What does it say for pH? Yeah, doesn't say anything about pH. Spraying the lime will increase pH, and if there's I don't think there's anywhere else to pick up lime from here, though. I think that's where you would do it. Let's just see. I think this is what you would use. But this is just a fertilizer. This is the same fertilizers you can use with the other stuff, right? Alright, so this has been planted now. So let's go ahead and... So it's neutral, slightly alkaline. Let's go ahead and just go progress to the next day and see what happens. Oh, great. There's a great demand for wheat. Sweet. So this is that growth cycle again, going through. So this is where it'll look at what's on the field itself, and it'll decide what it needs to, what's happening. So like, I spread fertilizer down, and now it's gone. You can't really notice. I don't think. I think it goes away. Oh, you can still notice. Let's just see here. I thought it would actually go away, but apparently I am a liar right now. But it does take a little bit of practice, which is the reason why I'm kind of like doing like a little mini series on conestoga. I really wanted to try this mod out. So here's an example. Weed pressure is increasing over here, so you might need a... So like, there's a little bit of weed there, but not a lot yet. So and you can actually harvest with weeds in the field. So here's an example there. It got to 70%, and that's usually where it kind of does this growth phase right here. On this field, on this map at least. Now, is it going to show any weeds at all? No. Okay. So there's a slight acidity on this field now. So see, like almost everywhere has a slight acidity. 6.5. So I need to be careful because I don't want it to drop too low. So let's move this off the field here. These trees would just kill me. If I play on this like seriously for a long time, I would probably just get... I'd probably go in and make a point of taking all the trees out. Or making them... Or like leave them in, but make them so... leave them in, but make it so I could just drive through them. Alright, so... This is fertilizer. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I think that's the lime? Not sure. Let's just see what happens. I think that's just the lime, but this is... Let's just do a strip and see what happens. So I am not 100% what's supposed to happen with this. But I think that's supposed to be lime. This is all got a slight acidity, so let's just see. Alright, so I'm only going to do a strip there just because I'm kind of curious. Alright, now let's accelerate time again. And it goes day by day, which is kind of nice actually, which makes a bit more sense than the way it goes right now. So then it's going through its growth phase again. Let's get back to daylight here. Oh, great. So now once it goes through its growth phase, so it should tell us whether that did anything or not. I don't know if it did or not though. But I believe that's how you're supposed to spread the lime. But I'm not sure. So remember, this is 6.5. Let's keep an eye on that. It should raise up. I don't know. Let's just see here. 6.5. I have to reread this now just to make sure. Spreading lime will increase the soil pH level. Yeah. So we want to increase the soil pH a little bit. So it's 6.5. So if that did something, so see at 70%, so now it's moderately alkaline. So now it's a little bit too high on this little spot right here. And slightly, okay, that was the right thing then. Okay, so there's doesn't appear to be any weed pressure here, which is good. Yeah. So this one little section is moderately alkaline. So I probably shouldn't have done that at that particular stage of growth because that's probably a little bit too much now. Yeah. So then when you get to this little strip, it goes, no. Yeah, it goes kind of high, so. Interesting. Alright. So, as you can see, it does kind of add a little bit to, adds to the game. I think what I'll do is do another episode on this, and we'll keep progressing with this, because this, I find it interesting, at least. That one's... So here's what happens when you don't do anything with the field for a while. You just get a crazy amount of weeds like this right here. So this is 70... In that little area, there's like 56%, and that will affect your yield. You probably could still harvest it, but it will decrease the amount you actually get. Over here, though, because we cultivated, I guess, we're still okay for the time being. But as you can see on this little strip right here, it's higher than it should be. Interesting. All right, so I think that's it for episode number 1 of the Soil Mod in-depth test. I don't know what to call it. Mini-series, we'll call it. Anyways, my name's Iain Robson. This has been Conestoga Map, checking out the Soil Mod, and I will talk to you guys later.